Hi everyone, Michelle Carstensen here with the Carstensen team at RE/MAX Results, and I continue the last couple weeks to get the question, why is my appraisal low and what happens when it is low? So this happens any time of the year, but a lot of times more often in the spring with multiple offers and homes listed at a certain price and getting bid up to another price, and it honestly doesn't really matter if you're paying with your lending is FHA, USDA, VA, or conventional. The only part of that matters is if you're doing an FHA loan and your home that you are buying appraises low, or if you're selling and the person buying it has an FHA appraisal, it is stuck with the home, the appraised price is stuck with the home on an FHA loan for 6 months. Now what happens if my appraisal is low? Now on your buy side, if your appraisal is low, a lot happens after that, depending on how much it is low or than what you were going to pay. But it's not much different than if you're selling your home. But I'll explain it to you real quick. So if you're buying a home, you offer a price, say the list price was $200,000, you offered $215,000, and it came in at $200,000. Well, it came in $15,000 low of the price that you offered to pay the person for their home. When that comes in low, what happens either side? You got to renegotiate. What happens? What does it mean when we have to renegotiate? Well, there's a lot of factors that go into it, and these factors I will talk to a little bit about now, but honestly, this is a really good reason of why you have to have an experienced professional realtor on your side to battle for you in the renegotiation of the appraisal. They probably had a really good agent right away anyways on the first-hand side trying to get you to help you buy this house, especially multiple offers. You know, you're bidding over the list price. But if you don't have a really exceptional agent on your side that knows what they're doing in negotiating and renegotiating, then you might catch yourself in a little bit of trouble. Now, if you have the money to come up with to pay for the price over the appraisal, that is one option. Option number two would be to get the seller to come down to the appraised price. Rarely happens, sometimes, but rarely. Depending on how much, again, the appraisal is off. I'm talking about if it's off by $15,000. Now, if you're off by, $1,000, you can probably usually get the seller to come down $1,000. And the third option, among many others, is to meet in the middle. Figure out a situational way to meet in the middle on the price. If you're off $15,000, that's $7,500 each, so that's a little difficult. Has that happened? Yes, I had that happen a couple times last year already. And this year I had one $10,000 difference already. So that does happen. Another option may be talk to your lender about if you are asking for closing costs to roll your closing costs on top of the list price. That's another option. All lenders are different, but some will let you do that, some will not. And of course, once it doesn't appraise and nobody can come to an agreement on getting the price to where it needs to be for you to purchase a home, you can actually back out of purchasing the home at that time. That is a contingency in the purchase agreement, that if it doesn't appraise, you can't come to an agreement. You can back out of purchasing that home. And obviously on the seller side, you could back out on selling that home, but you want to take in consideration when you're selling the house, can you get the price that you want either in cash or from a different buyer. Sometimes the home's appraised more than the house, which is really awesome, but I get this question too, is like, I offered $200,000 and only appraised for $205,000. I thought you said the home was actually probably worth more than that. Home is maybe worth more than that, could be worth more than that, but appraisers normally will not give you thousands of dollars on top of the price you offered because there's no reason to tell you the home is worth more than what you're offering. So they usually go about the price at value. Is a lot of times what we hear. It comes back at value, comes back a couple thousand more, it comes back way more sometimes, but not very often. Again, so what happens when your home doesn't appraise on the sell side or when you're buying? You have to renegotiate at that point, which means your buyer's agent or seller's agent is going to renegotiate with the opposite side agent. So any questions on that, please leave me comments and I can answer them for you. This is a time of year when the appraisers do sometimes come down low. Now, does that happen other times of year? Yes, it does, because I've had some happen in the fall and the winter as well, but not as often just because of the multiple offers and the getting bid up situation. And the last question some people ask me is, well, why can't they just appraise it for what I'm willing to pay? Well, about 10 years ago, when the foreclosures all started to happen because the banks would just appraise everything for whatever people wanted to pay, and then we had the industry where it all crashed and there were so many foreclosures and short sales and people could not afford to pay for what they were given to lend on a loan. So I would guess, my guess and my opinion is appraisers right now are being cautious on the appraisals because they do not want that to happen to the real estate industry again as what happened about 10 years ago. All right, so if you have any questions on appraisals, obviously feel free to comment below and we can answer your questions. And if you need somebody for a realtor and you know anyone that needs a realtor, an experienced realtor that is very excited to help you, even if your home doesn't appraise, because I can renegotiate along with Stacy and Chuck and help you get to where you want to be. And the whole point of buying a house is getting into the house with the least amount of stress as possible. Feel free to reach out to me, Chuck, and Stacy, the Carstensen team at RE/MAX Results, and I'm Michelle Carstensen. Have a great day. Bye-bye.